Today on GCON Air, tensions rise as Edo State Governor Olarewaju throws a public warning at Peter Obi. Is this politics or war? Senator Natasha is defiant. She's storming plenary tomorrow with or without permission. Scott Iguma is in cuffs and the streets are buzzing. Otedola's book drops and so do Jaws. What is in this book that has Nigerians so triggered? Kemi Badenoch questions Nigeria's passport pride and sparks a firestorm. And in our headline conversation, Atiku versus PDP, the fallout, the betrayal, the game plan, straight from his inner circle. Demola Olarewaju joins us live on the show. It's going to be quite a show today, so please strap in and welcome to GCON Air. All right, today it's going to be you and I. Yes, you listening to me, you watching me via social media. Don't forget that the show streams live right now on Instagram, on TikTok at J_on_air. So in case you want to see what's happening in the studio, please go to social media, J_on_air live, J_on_air across social media platforms. And of course on Instagram as well, 885_UFM. We go straight to our first story. At some point as the show progresses, I'll definitely be opening the phone lines and be getting your comments on social media as well. I mean, everybody has been buzzing about the Edo State conversation. You know what the governor said about Peter Obi. Governor Olarewaju warned Peter Obi against entering Edo State without prior security clearance, citing safety concerns after 3 killings following Obi's visit on July 7th. Now, a lot of people have been asking the question, who are these 3 people that have passed on? We need to see proof that people actually died when Peter Obi came, into town. But, we're here to hear anything from the governor's office as regards the people that have died, as regards to knowing who they are, knowing their identity. Now, a lot of critics, including Femi Otedola and the ADC, have accused the governor of intimidation and unconstitutional restriction. Now, the government maintains that this is just protocol and it is not a threat. Now, for those that don't know what happened, Obi visited Benin City, the state capital, and made a donation to St. Philomena Hospital School of Nursing Sciences. I think he donated about 15 million naira for the completion of projects in the school. Now, Olarewaju, however, condemned Obi's visit to the state, insisting that his visit coincided with resurgence of violence in the state. But I want people to hear directly from the governor's mouth, to hear what exactly triggered all these conversations, on social media and beyond.
I am sending a direct message to him. There is a new sheriff in town. He cannot come to Edo without telling me. I am serious about it. He came the other day and donated 15 million. By the time he left, there was crisis. 3 people died in Benin. So for that reason, tell Obi he should not come to Edo without telling me.
This is what triggered a lot of conversations on social media. I'm going to take some social media reactions right after that video started trending. The Lord Maker said, Obi needs to visit Edo State very soon to prove a point. You can't allow Olarewaju, he said something I cannot repeat on air, to get away with careless capping like this. He needs to send a message to the actual people speaking through his mouth. Now, at Morris_Moyen says, a sitting governor is threatening a private citizen, but who is the mob? Now, the governor, in a statement by his chief press secretary, Fred Itwa, yesterday, Sunday, said that his remarks were misinterpreted. This is what part of the statement reads. It said, it's imperative to state clearly that the governor did not issue any form of threat to Mr. Obi, but rather emphasized the need for high-profile individuals, particularly politically exposed persons, to notify and seek security clearance from the governor before embarking on any public engagement within the state. Now, if we're being honest, we all saw that video. The statement was directed at someone. It was directed at Peter Obi. Now, it did not say any high-profile person coming into the state must seek permission. The governor clearly said Peter Obi should not come into Edo State without seeking for permission. So I don't like when, we're trying to double down on things and we're somewhat lying, because this is clearly a lie. Again, I played that video, the audio, and the video is clear, it's across social media. The governor clearly said, there's a new sheriff in town. Tell Peter Obi that he cannot come in here without, getting security clearance from me, the governor. I want to get your reactions about this story. A lot of people had a lot to say, some for and some against what the governor said. Like I said, Femi Otedola has come out to say that Peter Obi should not allow this to slide. that he has to do something. He has to go to the court to file a criminal case because this is a threat to life. Kenneth Okonkwo, who was a former, Labour Party ally, who we now know is no longer really backing Peter Obi, has come out to say that Peter Obi has to do something, that this is not the first time a sitting governor is threatening his life, that if he doesn't speak, people are going to think that he's weak. All right, I'll take this phone call right now for reactions. Welcome to the show. What's your name?
Hello, good evening.
All right, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is DJ.
All right, talk to me.
I think the government is supposed to always contact his special advisors on his matters before making some statements. So such a statement made is not, we don't expect it to the governor. So to me, I just believe that the wrong statement, and Obi should be free to go to anywhere. Likewise, any other person. That's my own take.
All right, thank you so much for a reaction to that story. We spoke about, the Edo State governor, Governor Monday Kwewolo, saying that Peter Obi cannot come to Edo State without getting security clearance from him. And our last caller just said that the governors should confirm with their special advisors on legal matters before making certain statements in the public. Welcome to the show. What's your name?
My name is Honorable Epi Payosai Surgeon from Edo State.
All right, good to have you on the show, sir. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, you made mention of Monday Kwewolo.
Yes,
between Monday Kwewolo and Peter Obi.
Yes.
The statement that was made by Monday Kwewolo is a total taboo to the entire Edo State, to all Nigerians. We are not happy. Peter Obi is a peaceful man. I'm an Edo man. I'm an Isha man, the same place from him. We are from the same place. It's a taboo. Peter Obi is a very peaceful man. Peter Obi has not replied to date. That shows the matter. So we don't want tyrants. We don't want people that we don't want people that will bully the whole state. We are not even on campaign ground. Campaign has not yet started. He has started his campaign the very day he was sworn in. When we look at it, is that one the governor or who? That is just my statement. But that one is not really our problem. Obaseki came and left. He came, he also left. It's an NN governor, not our governor. So NN declared him as a governor of Edo State, but personally, it's not my governor.
All right. Thanks for calling into the show.
Thank you.
All right. Just to be clear, Governor Monday was declared the winner of the governorship elections in Edo State. Just want to put that out there. We're still on J on Air. We're talking about some trending political stories. Our first story was about, the Edo State governor saying that Peter Obi cannot visit Edo State without getting security clearance from him. Another story is about Scott Iguma getting arrested. He was arraigned before Ikoyi Federal High Court on the 17th of July. Now, PWAN, the company that he has been talking about, saying that they sell receipts instead of actual land to their clients, have said that, they had nothing to do with his arrest. Now, in a series of Instagram posts, Iguma had earlier accused the real estate company, PWAN, of selling receipts to customers.
PWAN real estate company, the real estate company that is selling receipts to people instead of land to the general public. I was at the EFCC again last week to submit another 25 petitions.
However, in a late Instagram post last week Wednesday, he accused the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Panti Yaba, of being used by P1's founder, Augustine Onwemere, to arrest him. He has been granted bail today. There's a trending hashtag on social media, Free Scott Iguma. Now, a lot of people are saying that he should be freed and that power is being used against this young man. We're hoping to get him on the show as the show progresses, and not today, to hear from him and also to hear from a representative from P1 as well. We want to talk about Senator Natasha quickly, as she has vowed to resume plenary tomorrow. Now, Senator Natasha, representing Kogi Central, has said that she'll resume plenary tomorrow, Tuesday, July 22nd, in line with a court decision, despite an appeal filed by Senate President Godswill Akpabio challenging the ruling. I'm going to quote what she said. She said, "I have pretty much 2 months before the 6 months expire. However, I have written to the Senate again, telling them that I am resuming on the 22nd. And I'll be there by the special grace of God." Now, if you know that she was suspended in March, she raised some allegations against the Senate president, saying that, there had been some form of sexual misconduct, but that was not the case that was sent to court. Now, this is a case that is ongoing at the moment. Now, the court has actually has declared the suspension illegal, but the Senate has since filed an appeal, which the senator says does not stop her resumption. Now, the thing is that the court has come out to say this suspension is illegal, she can resume. Now, the Senate has filed an appeal. When you file an appeal, the court has to take your appeal. But the order the court has given has to still be followed through. That you've made an appeal does not mean that the order the court has given will not be followed through. That order has to be followed through before your appeal is taken. Even as someone that is not, a legal practitioner, I know this. So I think she's well within her rights to be resuming office tomorrow because the court has said that his suspension is illegal. We'll take this phone call. Welcome to the show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good afternoon.
All right, good to have you on the show. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, if there is any communication or information from the court that said maybe something happened, maybe the last time Peter Obi visited Edo State, I think the governor is right. Peter Obi is a public figure. A public figure cannot visit a state without informing the security of the state or the governor to lay down a good security. What if he visited and the opponent decided to use it to do another thing? Is the governor not involved or the security is not involved? Apart from Peter Obi generally, a public figure in this country that we don't really have security cannot visit a state without informing the administrative of the state for security purpose.
So are you saying that this just for Peter Obi or for every public figure, any high-profile person?
I'm talking about generally any public figure, either in politics or outside politics. In a country like this that don't have security, you need to inform the administrative of the state before you visit. Anything can happen. What if in the process there is crowd and everywhere was crowded, people start matching themselves, thousands of people dead? What will happen? Or the opponents use it as an alternative to destroy the people or something. Let be sincere. Don't let us do politics or no politics. Let be sincere with each other. You can't visit a state without informing the administrative of the state. It's dangerous in this country currently. Thank you. That's my own.
All right. Thanks for calling. Welcome to the show. What's your name?
Hello. Good evening. My name is Samson.
All right, Samson. Go ahead, please. Share your thoughts, please.
What the governor is saying of Edo State is not as if it's that bad, but it's something that Obi knows. You understand? You can't go to a state without security. He's moving with security. Something like that. He's a public figure. He moves with security. Any public figure moves with security. But it's not something he has to comment on air or social media or anything to say it. Obi has to come into Edo State before he even think of becoming a governor.
Okay.
So what he said is wrong, but it's the right thing to do.
All right. Thanks for calling. All right. Thanks for calling and sharing your thoughts on the show. All right. Thank you so much. All right, we're still on GCON Air. We're talking about some pretty interesting stories that would definitely get you interested. These are stories that, as citizens of Nigeria, we definitely need to know about. Okay, in case you want to share your thoughts, we're active on social media, TikTok J_on_air, as well on Instagram 885_UFM or J_on_air as well. Don't forget that in a few minutes we'll be joined by Mr. Demola Olarewaju, who is a senior political assistant to His Excellency Atiku Abubakar. We're going to be talking about the PDP situation and his resignation from the party. Let's take this phone call now. Welcome to the show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Good evening, sir. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Well, my name is Yomi Abayomi. I'm calling from Lagos.
All right, Mr. Abayomi, good to have you on the show. Go ahead, please.
What is going on in this country frightens me, especially with these social media warriors. They just lash onto a topic and they come on air and start talking unintelligently and they think they are right. There is nothing wrong with what Governor Otedola have said. It is the normal thing. It is the normal courtesy. When a VVIP, especially a politician, is going to a state, you need to inform the governor so he can arrange security for you. Now, what he said is if he decides to come to those states without informing him, anything that happens to him, it's not his responsibility. You're on your own. That is what he's saying. So it makes sense that you let the governor know when Peter Obi himself was governor of Anambra State, he said the same thing to to El-Rufai.
Yeah, that's
when El-Rufai wanted to visit. He said the security cannot be guaranteed. So there's nothing abnormal about it. People are just going crazy and going haywire over it. It is nothing. It is the normal thing. Peter Obi himself knows that is the normal thing to do.
All right, so can I ask you a question, sir? Do you think that maybe people are worried because of how he said the tone in which he said what he said? Because a lot of people are saying that, while you might be right, sir, you sounded like you were threatening his life. Couldn't he have said it in a different way?
Maybe, maybe he is not a good communicator. Maybe he did not express himself in the right way. But let me tell you, it is the normal thing. And it is for Peter Obi's security too. And then on the Natasha case, you see, the National Assembly is a different institution. The National Assembly does not take instruction from the judiciary, which is another arm. What the judge said was merely advisory, because even Natasha did not ask for it. As at the time Natasha went to court, he had not been suspended on that case. So the court cannot grant to you what it did not ask for. So if the National Assembly suspends you, it has the right, because they have their own internal regulatory system. When you are to be recalled, that institution will write you again to say you can resume. Until that is done, you cannot force yourself in. All what Natasha is doing is just playing to the gallery. She knows that she cannot resume without the National Assembly lifting the suspension. So please let our people be less emotional and look at issues dispassionately. That is my contribution.
All right,
thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for calling to the studio.
Yeah, thank
you so much. All right, we're still live on J on Air right now. We're going to move on to another conversation. Joining us in the studio is the senior political assistant to Atiku Abubakar, Mr. Demola Olarewaju. Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us this evening. How are you doing, sir?
Thank you very much. Very well, thank you, Jay. How are you?
I'm well. I want to go straight into the conversation. We know that His Excellency Atiku Abubakar has been trending over the last couple of weeks because of his decision that was made. He officially resigned from the PDP. Now, the worry that a lot of people have had is that over his political career, he's someone that has moved from party to party, from PDP to AC to ACN to the PDP. And so people are worried that, does this not make him somebody that cannot stick to his decisions? How do you respond to those fears people have?
I think it makes him a courageous person. In a country where, people will rather stay in a situation no matter how bad it is. Atiku Abubakar has always made a courageous decision. And if you look at the trend, Atiku Abubakar has never, ever defected into a ruling party. In fact, it has always been the other way. He defects from the ruling party into the opposition, which again is very, very courageous by any political standard. You have a situation, for example, where incumbent governors on the PDP platform are moving into the ruling party, the APC, because they are afraid of being victimized with federal might. To now have a politician who has a track record of defecting from a ruling party, into an opposition, I think it takes a lot of courage. And I think, it's something, it's one for the books. I mean, this man defected as sitting vice president from the Obasanjo cabinet after the disagreement over the third term agenda, which he fought in 2007. So he defected from the ruling party, PDP at that time, and joined the opposition party. Some people have said that if he had stayed and supported the third term agenda, perhaps he could have been president after Olusegun Obasanjo at some point, maybe after the third term. But, he took the courageous decision, he put his ambition on the line, and he defected. Again, people say that, when PDP, things were going wrong in PDP as regards the zoning matter under Goodluck Jonathan, that if he had stayed, perhaps he may have become president after Goodluck Jonathan. But he's a principled person. He saw that what was going on in the PDP at that time was not fair to the Nigerian people, and he defected from the ruling party again. So I think it's quite commendable.
But a lot of questions again still about him leaving the PDP, and it goes to the fact that people are saying that this is a man that is 80 years old. he has wanted to be the president of this country. So people are saying, is this to serve the Nigerian people, or is this merely just, a personal ambition to be the president of Nigeria? Now, we've seen previous leaders say that, it is my turn, I want to be president. It is my turn, I want to lead the people. So are you saying to us that this is not just a mere personal ambition of saying I achieved this in my lifetime, becoming president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as opposed to serving the Nigerian people who, if we're being honest, have, been going through it for a number of years?
And so what's wrong with that, Jay? I mean, I don't see anything wrong with personal ambition. It's politics. People have personal aspirations, okay? And it is legitimate to have aspirations in politics. So this attempt to, delegitimize the aspiration of someone is not, it's not part of politics, okay? Everyone is in politics because of what they want to offer to the people. And if he has been proven consistently correct in terms of the analysis, the diagnosis, the prognosis, and the diagnosis of Nigeria's problems, then perhaps we should listen to him. I mean, this was a man who in 2019, people wanted to take off his head, basically, because he said that the refinery should be privatized. Okay, APC went to town saying that he wanted to sell it to his friends. And now, several years after, spent $13 billion, they are about to privatize the same refineries, coming back to the ideas that Atiku put out. If you ask Bola Tinubu, why did you remove fuel subsidy? The only reason he would profile is that it was in Atiku's manifesto. Atiku said he was going to remove fuel subsidy. So that's why I removed fuel subsidy, even though he doesn't understand that, you don't just remove fuel subsidy, you have to deregulate the market also, so that people can import petroleum products freely. The only importer of petroleum products in Nigeria today is still the NNPCL. Okay, the reason why you have the slight changes in the market is because Dangote is a player in that sector. Now imagine what would happen if you have several more players in that market. So it's simply the fact that his manifesto has stood the test of time, beyond personal aspiration. Honestly, if you ask me, I mean, we will be fine. Atiku is a former vice president. He's a former vice president, you can't take that away from him. He will be fine if he retires now. But I think, it's beyond personal aspiration, even though I take pains to say that there is absolutely nothing wrong with personal aspiration. But it is definitely beyond personal aspiration. When you see the things you said 10 years ago come to pass, then you still have relevance in the system. And I think that's the purpose of it, and not in age, not whether he's 78 years old or he's 68 years old.
All right, let's take it back. There could be conversations around it. If this man has the manifesto, so to speak, to fix what Nigeria is going through, or to attend to the pains of the Nigerian people, why has that not worked in the PDP? Why has it not been able to, is a leader there, why has it not been able to fix the situation or the breakdown that the PDP has had? In fact, a lot of people will argue that, in 2019, it was instrumental in breaking the PDP, or seeing the breakdown of what the PDP party went through. How would you respond to that?
Well, I would simply say it's a political party. There are people within the political party, the PDP, who do not want PDP to be competitive. As far as they are concerned, PDP is a cash cow. PDP is a leverage. It's a negotiating tool for them. Okay, they are using it to bargain the positions that they want from APC. All right, so that's what's going on with the PDP, and there's no reconciliation with these people. We tried to reconcile with them. We were even willing to look away from the anti-party activities of 2023 and say, look, can we forge a common ground for 2027? But these guys, remain recalcitrant, because for their own personal motives. So there's no ambiguity between both. The manifesto for Nigeria is clear. It's a manifesto that is private sector driven, with public regulations, a manifesto that will serve the people of Nigeria. Atiku Abubakar is perhaps the only person who has had a vantage point to understand that certain things cannot be done in Nigeria unless certain things are also undone. Okay, most people talk about the powers of the presidency to govern Nigeria from Abuja, forgetting that Abuja was never meant to be the fulcrum of the development of the various ethnicities that make up Nigeria. Atiku Abubakar has tried it, and he has said, look, this is the best way to govern Nigeria. Let more powers devolve to the states and let us have private sector driven investments. Once we have those, we can unlock Nigeria. So I think the manifesto is very clear. As to the PDP, it's a political problem. Some people, felt that they would lose out if Atiku Abubakar won. And, of the 12 states that we won in the last election, out of 12 states, only 5 were PDP states. 7 states were APC states that Atiku Abubakar won. So that shows that, our strength was never in those PDP states. And, now we're about to look at it ahead of 2027 and we're about to test.
So would you say that this is the end of the PDP as a national force? I also want to say that, we've heard from your state governor, Seyi Makinde, saying that, it's even good that Atiku has left, the PDP. How do you react to what the governor of Oyo State is saying about Atiku leaving good radiance, to bad rubbish? How do you react to that?
My Gen Alpha son will say cope. That's cope. It's a cope statement. When you lose your wife, your girlfriend leaves you for another man, and then you say, oh well, I'm happy she went, but you're crying inside. This is a 2-time presidential candidate of the party. This is somebody who has given the party its highest leverage in years in the northern parts of the country. This is someone who has invested more in the PDP over the last decade than any other politician alive. Though some people would like to say, because they pay the salaries of people who work in Wadata Plaza, that they are the ones who finance the party. But these people know. But in any case, we don't want to join issues with anybody. It's a forward movement, all right? Those who believe in the PDP and who think that they can continue to use it to leverage the APC or to negotiate with the APC, they are free to do that. And that's why you see Minister Nyesom Wike fighting back against these guys so much, because he knows that the only person who was sincere in the management of PDP, the only person who wanted to see a PDP victory at the center was Atiku Abubakar. And that's why he fought him to a standstill. The reasons why he's fighting these same guys who are making comments about Atiku is because he knows that they also want to take PDP from him and negotiate with the APC, not that they want PDP to win. So to the question whether PDP can be a national force, not in the near future is my answer, Jay. I do not see PDP becoming a national force in the nearest future. I used to say a few months back that PDP will remain strong in certain states in Nigeria. As of today, Jay, I cannot say that confidently. Okay. Governors are on their way out of this party. In states where PDP won very, very tough elections, a state like Osun State, there have been rumors, over the past couple of weeks, and I happen to know that, there's some truth in that rumor, that these governors are moving to the APC. So PDP is not even no longer a national force. It's not even a regional force. You can't point to any single zone in the country today where you can say that the PDP is dominant. So if these people will continue to fight Atiku, they fought us when we were in PDP, we joined issues with them when we were in PDP, we are no longer with them in PDP, and so we have no interest in joining issues with them. They can continue to talk about Atiku. Atiku is going to talk about the future of Nigeria.
All right. Let us talk about the ADC. Atiku has officially joined this coalition, but there's also a strong contender there for the presidency, His Excellency Peter Obi, and people are saying that Peter Obi should be the ADC presidential nominee in 2027, not Atiku Abubakar. What do you say to that?
We look at the numbers, first of all. If Atiku Abubakar, at the lowest point of his possibly the lowest point of his political career, at a time when the structure that was supposed to work for him worked against him, 5 governors in his own party came out against him, he scored 6.98 million votes, right? And His Excellency Peter Obi, all due respect to him, rode a momentum, a very strong wave of southern presidency without, the incumbent party that also presented a southern candidate. He also scored 6.1 million votes. So 2 very strong contenders. And I think what we are seeing is a coalition. And what a coalition simply means is we recognize the fact that Bola Tinubu is in power today with 36.6% of the vote. That's not an absolute majority vote. It's not above 50%. Okay? But because the votes were split, Atiku pulled 6.98 million, Peter Obi pulled 6.1 million. Their combined votes, 29% and 25%, is more than Bola Tinubu's 36.6%. So the coalition is simply saying more Nigerians do not want the APC in power than those who want the APC in power. So
as a coalition, obviously there are going to be primaries. If in these primaries, Peter Obi is declared the nominee, will Atiku officially step down and, say that, I'm going to throw my support behind Peter Obi?
I think the antecedent is very clear. Atiku Abubakar has always conceded in every primary where he loses. He lost the 2011 primary to President Goodluck Jonathan. He supported President Goodluck Jonathan. He worked for him in Adamawa State and delivered votes in Adamawa State. In 2015 in APC, it was also the same thing. He lost to President Muhammadu Buhari. He worked for Muhammadu Buhari in Adamawa State and delivered for him in Adamawa State. And this antecedent goes back all the way back to 1992 when he stepped down from Chief MK Abiola, after he took over from his mentor at a very young age, by the way, after he took over from his mentor to run a presidential campaign. So Atiku Abubakar has a very clear track record. If you defeat him free and fair, he is not a Nyesom Wike that will start throwing tantrums all over the place. No, he's not a baby politician. He will, support whoever wins in a free and fair contest. I can answer that without consulting him. I can answer that based on his antecedents. I don't need to ask him, sir, will you concede? No. In fact, we would come out and openly start congratulating anybody who defeats him in a presidential primary. That's not a problem. What we have to agree, okay, that the most important thing is that the votes must go in one major direction this time around. And I believe that the coming together of Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi will produce very surprising results. What I like most about this, Jay, is that so far the APC has been caught on the back foot. APC has not seen any of this coming. At some point, they thought it was going to be SDP, and they started trying to cause trouble in SDP. At some point, they thought it was ADA, started trying to use INEC against ADA, and then they suddenly saw ADC. They didn't see it coming. So a lot of Nigerians will not see the next move also coming. Okay, let people not second guess. All we should agree on is that APC needs to go because APC have not performed.
So as we wrap this up, I'm going to ask you, do you think that it is possible for the ADC to win the 2027 election? Because there's one thing. If we think about the political landscape of Nigeria, our present president is one of, in modern time, one of the most powerful presidents we've had. People would argue in the last couple of years. Other people will argue that, and even before he became president, he had power. Now that he's an incumbent, it's going to be hard to take him out of office. Do you think there's a possibility of ADC actually winning in 2027?
So, Jay, I think we owe ourselves a certain measure of honesty. It's going to be hard to remove Bola Tinubu. It's going to be very hard to remove Bola Tinubu. He's a president who, look, this is 2 years to elections. We're in 2025. Elections are still about 2 years away. But we're already talking politics. And the reason is because this president, the only thing he is good at is politics, okay? Nothing about governance, nothing about policy, nothing about making the lives of the people better, all right? All politics. So a lot has to be done. A lot has to be done. But I would say that if Nigerians can get their minds out of this North-South contraption, if Nigerians can get their minds out of this ethnic games, then Bola Tinubu is a one-time president, okay? If we fall into that same trap of, ethnicity, creating a false idea of South, as though the Yorubas have not spent 8 years in power from 1999 to 2007, and then spent another 8 years as vice president from 2015 to 2023, and now about to spend another 8 years all under the guise of South, a South that excludes the other Souths, a South that did not matter when Goodluck Jonathan was being removed in 2015, okay? And some people are now talking about South. If we don't fall into this ethnic trap in 2027, then Bola Tinubu is a one-time president.
All right, my final question as we wrap this up, sir. I'm going to ask you, if this fails in 2027, is it the last hurrah for His Excellency Atiku Abubakar? Is he moving on from this ambition? Is he going to move on and just be the elder statesman that supports and advises whoever is the president? What is going to happen?
Well, I don't think we don't plan for failure here. We don't plan for failure. We plan for victory all the time. So we'll see what happens. However it goes, I'm sure that he'll continue to do whatever it takes, as long as he has good health, as long as his mental capacities are very strong. He would always be ready. But we don't plan for failure. We discuss victory, and we think that Atiku Abubakar stands a very good shot. I think that if the coalition is going to work, it has to work according to an exact. You can't be talking Southern presidency while the incumbent president is a Southerner. It's a no-brainer. It's literally a no-brainer.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Demola Olarewaju, for joining us on this conversation. We appreciate you joining us on such short notice as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jay. It's my pleasure to be with you.
All right, thank you so much. All right, that was Mr. Demola Olarewaju, the senior political assistant to His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, talking about the coalition, the ADC coalition, and the plans for the 2027 election. This has been Jay on the Air. We have this Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 6 p.m. But before we officially wrap up, go straight into Jay's take. 2027 might be 2 years away, but the honest truth is that it is here already. Different political leaders are already playing the games. They are already putting 1 and 2 together. The question is, are we ready as a people to vote for that person that will take us from where we are to where we need to be? We should not say it's 2 years time, I'm going to jackpot. It's 2 years time, I'm going to move on. It's 2 years time, let's relax. The truth is that these people are already putting things into position. Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? 2027 is already here. It's already here, and we have to make that decision ourselves.